Hey everybody, you're listening to episode number 49 of the Everything Ham Radio podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some new scholarships that are available through the ARRL. We're going to talk about my Christmas wish list if I ever win the lottery, and we're going to talk a little bit about a latest episode that I listened to over on the Hamradio 360 podcast. We're going to talk about the St. Albans Amateur Radio Club in our Amateur Radio Club Spotlight. We got a few upcoming events and contests. We don't have any Hamfest this episode, being that it's Christmas. And we're going to wrap it up with some news from around the hobby. So, stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Everything Ham Radio podcast. My name is Curtis, my call sign is Kilo 5 Charlie Lima Mike, and I am your host for this podcast. This podcast is released every Thursday morning. You can listen to us on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, on Google Play. You can listen directly from our website and many other places. Please follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Everything Ham Radio. I also have a radio group, Everything Ham Radio group that you can find at facebook.com/groups/Everything Ham Radio. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Everything Ham Radio, on Twitter at K5CLM, and there's a couple other little social media things that I do as well. Not very many though. But anyways, so today we're going to be talking about a few things. I'm actually a little cold right now because it is 10:32 p.m. on a Tuesday evening, and it's about 36 degrees or so out, and I'm just now getting to record this. Unfortunately, it's taken me a little longer this weekend, and the reason being is that last Saturday, which was like the 16th, I think, something like that, we had a cold front come through. I'm sure all of y'all have felt this, or a bunch of you have felt this cold front that came through. It got here Saturday about noon or so. About noon, we were at 76 degrees, kind of warm for December, almost Christmas time, but it was nice. Well, a cold front went through shortly it was about 1 o'clock, I guess is what it was. And like I said, at noon, we were at 76. By 4 p.m. when I left work that day, we were down to about 37. By about 8 o'clock, we were down to about 28. And by 5 o'clock the next morning, we were at about 17. And had a very rough wake-up call. I woke up about 5 o'clock and took care of some business. And when I turned on the water, there was no water. My pipes were froze. I was afraid of this. I wasn't expecting it so soon, but I was afraid of this. And unfortunately, it's because I don't have any underpinning on my house. We have a brand new house. We bought a house back in March, and I haven't gotten around to getting the underpinning. Well, that, and I haven't got the money to get the underpinning. But anyways, I thought maybe I can just put the insulation around the pipes, and it would be all good. Well, it wasn't. And my pipes froze. So I went to work on Sunday, and my wife stayed home with our kids, and they were without water. I had to go to thank God that her parents live on the same property as we do. So we were able to go over to their house. They weren't frozen. So we were able to go over there and get water enough for, cooking and flushing toilets and all that good stuff. Well, fast forward 2 days. Here it is Tuesday. And it had gotten above freezing on Monday for about 4 hours or so. And I was hoping that it would thaw the pipes. Well, it still didn't. But about 5 o'clock Monday evening, whichever, my wife and I were sitting on our back porch, and all of a sudden we hear this big pop. And we're like, I look at her and she looks at me, and we're like, what was that? So I crawl underneath the house, and I crawl up to the closest water line, and sure enough, it cracked. Well, as I got digging, I didn't dig a whole lot that day, but as I got looking down the pipe, I realized, pardon me there, I realized that not only was a little section of it shattered, but it was all of it that I had seen. So it was a very rough awakening. So I went and got some fittings and stuff that I thought I would need. Wasn't enough. We had some extra pipe laying around, and this morning I got started about 8:15, 8:30, something like that. It finally got above freezing this morning. Thankfully, it's not going to freeze anymore, for a little bit anyway, so at least for the next 10 days it's not forecasted to. And anyways, so I got digging and taking off insulation, and everywhere that I went, the pipes were shattered. Everywhere I went. So yeah, it was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and start. So I tracked down the pipe, and I took all the broken pipes and off and got them all situated. And I got the glue out and the cleaner out and the new pipe out and the new cup fittings out, and we started, putting in new pipe. Thought all was good. And so we tracked it about 3/4 the way back to where it goes underground, and we thought that, hey, that's it. Okay, didn't shatter anymore. Great. So we cut it off there, and we laid new pipe up to the house, and it got up to where it goes into the house, and I realized that I didn't see that, and it had shattered the coupling that went into the house. So I had to go back to town, and went into the local hardware store, and looked and looked and looked and looked and couldn't find anything. I couldn't. It was like nothing that I needed. And so I finally found something that I thought it was. And I thought it was a 1/2-inch pipe that it went into, and it's a 1-inch water line that comes up from the meter. So I was trying to figure out a way to reduce it down to 1/2-inch. Well, stupid me, it wasn't 1/2-inch. It was 3/4 that went into the house. So I, got the wrong fitting. I learned after the fact. So I had to make another trip back to town. And I thought I found what I needed, but it wasn't, unfortunately. By the time I got home and tried it out, it didn't work. So I had to make another trip back into town. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and couldn't find anything. Couldn't find the piece. So I went over to another major hardware store. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find the piece that I needed anywhere. Nobody could. I looked. Some employees looked. Nothing. Nobody could find this piece. So okay, well, let's figure out some other way. So I had to get instead of buying one fitting that I bought about 6 months ago when I was working on it and adding a new water spigot and stuff like that, I found this one fitting that was 71 cents or something like that. Instead of finding that, no, I couldn't find that. I had to buy 3 adapters and a piece of pipe. So instead of spending 71 cents on a single adapter, I had to spend $5. But I got it. So I got it hooked up. Thought everything was good. So I went down and turned on the water, and water wasn't making it to the house anymore. Or still. So I'm still trying to figure it out, and I'm crawling underneath the house, and sure enough, the rest of the pipe that I didn't change was still not working, or was broke, and was spewing water everywhere. So I turned off the water again. Now I have a muddy mess underneath my house. And I go, thankfully my wife was like, okay, well, go ahead and get some pipe in case you need it, in case you need a little extra. Okay, I did, listen to my wife. That's a good thing. Happy wife, happy life, all that good stuff. And so I got this pipe out, and I figured out how much I needed, and I went to put the coupler on. Well, the coupler didn't work. I looked at the pipe. It says 1 inch. I looked at the coupler. It said 1 inch. But the pipe was too small for the coupler. So I looked at it, and I guess what I had got was some hot water pipe instead of some regular Schedule 40 pipe. So anyways, what do you think happened? Yep, you're right. Another trip back to town. Took the pipe back, got new pipe, put it in. It worked. It no more leaks. Had water to the house. By now it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. And my knees were hurting from being on them all day. My shoulders were hurting because I hurt them not too long ago. Or one of them anyways. Had a headache. But water was back on. I could take a shower. I hadn't taken a shower since like Friday night. And so as we look at it, and we're able to take showers, and the commodes run somewhat. Mine, or our master bedroom did. Our kids' bedroom didn't. A couple of the faucets didn't work. The kitchen faucet didn't work. The dishwasher didn't work. So I spent the next 2 hours or so unconnecting everything, cleaning it out, and lo and behold, there's like some little bitty pieces of dirt that were in the connections that stopped the flow of water. Yeah, dirt. But I finally got it. I finally got it about 10 o'clock tonight. I finally have water to all of my house. And everybody has a bath but me. And I will before I go to bed, but it's going to be about midnight by the time I go to bed. Which really typically wouldn't be that bad. But because I work on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, tomorrow we're having our Christmas. So I'm going to be tired because I got to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure that all the Santa presents are out, right? He comes and he puts them somewhere, but I got to make sure that they're out where the kids can see them, right? So anyways, that was my day. Or my last couple days. It was not fun. But I finally got it, so I'm happy. I have water. I will be even happier when I get done with this, and I can go in and take a nice, long, hot shower. That's when I will be really happy. But anyways, now that I'm like totally have y'all off in left field on a ham radio podcast, I'm talking about broken water pipes and stuff. Let's get on with what we got for this episode. So I noticed a couple days ago that the ARRL has 2 new scholarships that are available. One of them is the Helen Laughlin AM Mode Memorial Scholarship. It's a new scholarship just starting out, and it is intended for a female amateur operator, for the YLs of the amateur radio community. It's a $1,000 scholarship, and it's for the West Gulf Coast region is where it's for. First choice is in Texas. If there's nobody that applies in Texas, then they'll do Arkansas. And if nobody applies in either one of in Texas or Arkansas, they'll do the entire West Gulf Coast. So if you are a YL and you are a ham radio operator, check out this scholarship if you're planning on going to college. And if you're not going to college, shame on you. Go to college. Second, they have a new one. It's the Atlanta Radio Club Scholarship, and it is for any ham that lives in Georgia between the ages of 17 and 25 years old. It's a $500 scholarship. And I believe the only requirements is that you're a ham and that you live in Georgia. And, as I was looking at this and reading about it, I didn't realize how many scholarships the ARRL has. I wish I would have known about that 15, 20 years ago when I went to college. Because they have like 80 of them. 80 different scholarships that you can get. Man, I so wish I would have known that. But I didn't. And stupid. And to this, up until a couple days ago, when I read this article on the ARRL, I didn't realize that they had that many scholarships. That's just it blows my mind. So if you are a young person and you are a ham radio operator and you're planning on going to college, which I don't know why you wouldn't, go to the ARRL, apply for anything that you qualify for to get a scholarship for college. Definitely. So I told y'all we're going to be talking about my Christmas wish list. And this Christmas wish list probably won't happen for any time soon. Maybe if I won the lottery or something, but then I guess I have to play the lottery before I can win the lottery. But if I were able to come into about, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, maybe $2,000 or so, these are my choices. Okay. Now, granted, I have an HF radio. It's an older model. It's like an ICOM, I want to say like 350 or something, 350 or 320 or something like that. It's an older radio. It works. It works good. I've used it. I haven't used it in a while, but it's sitting in a box here right next to my computer station where I am recording this right now. So I mean, it works, and it's good. But if I had the option, if I had the extra money, my choice would be the KENWOOD TS480 SAT. It's a $839.95 radio from MTC Radio, and it's a 100-watt HF radio plus 6 meters. And it's a pretty nice little radio, I have to admit. So this radio, like I said, it's a very nice radio. It has a detachable screen. It has a amber or yellow backlit display. Very nice radio. 100 watts HF and 6 meters. It's an all-mode transceiver with a built-in tuner. It's tailor-made for DXing the new TS480HX HF transceiver. Quote, raises the bar on portable performance. It is a small radio. However, it delivers a astonishing punch at 200 watts at DC 13.8 volts. Like I said, it does have a separate control panel that you can do for base units. And then there is the TS480 SAT is the 100 watt version of that, and it also has a built-in tuner. It has a whole bunch of stuff on it. It has 16-bit AF digital signal processing, noise reduction, TX-RX equalizer, filters. It has, like I said, the large amber LCD screen with backlit keys, continuous receiving from 500 kilohertz to 60 megahertz. It covers all amateur bands from 1.8 megahertz up to 50 megahertz. It has a quad mixer. This is what it says on the page here. It has quad mixer that provides RX dynamic range in the TS950 class, PSK31 capabilities, packet cluster tune, PC controlled, optional IF filters, and a whole lot more. And it's really not a bad price thing. $839.95 right now at mtcradio.com. You save $130. You can get extra extended warranty, 2 years for $78, 4 years for $125. You can buy the Mars module for $100. So it's a really nice radio. If I had the option, I would definitely get this radio. Okay, so next, that's basically the HF radio that I would buy. Mobile radios, I have two. And it's kind of not necessarily I would want both of them. My first choice would be the Yaesu FTM400D XDR. It's a 50 watt radio, 50 watts, 2 meters and 440. And it sells for $549.95 right now at mtcradio.com. It is the new System Fusion radio, the C4FM. It has built-in GPS for APRS. It has a micro SD slot. Has wide range receiving from 108 to 990 megahertz with, of course, cellular block. But it also has the C4FM functions, and that's really what I would buy this radio for. Because a lot of the repeaters around here locally, to me, are the new System Fusion radio repeaters. So I would definitely look at getting this radio. This would definitely be my first choice. A very nice radio. Has, the extended receive range. It transmits on just the 2 meter 440 ones. Has a a whole lot of tuning steps. It really surprised me when I saw that. I mean, I'm used to like the 5, 10, 12 and a half, 20, and 25. But this has a tuning steps of 5, 6.25, 10, 12.5, 15, 20, 25, 50, and 100 kilohertz. It will do AM, FM, NFM, and DV, which is the C4FM. And yeah, I mean, it's a really nice radio. It has a full color LCD screen. It has both frequencies listed on there. It has 4 different control knobs for volume and squelch for each band, as well as some soft buttons that will change. It has some hard buttons as well. But it's a very nice radio, and I would definitely so want this radio so badly. So if any of y'all out there are listening and you want to buy me this radio, this is what I want. This is like my very first choice on any radio that I want. This is it. But if I couldn't have this, I would have to go back to my trusty KENWOOD. And the KENWOOD radio that I want, equally priced, and it is the KENWOOD TM-D710G. It's a 2-meter 440. It also has a built-in APRS, TNC, as well as GPS. It sells for $529.95. And it doesn't have the full color display. It doesn't have the digital. So it's just an analog thing. But, if I can't have the System Fusion one, there's no D-Star radios around here close to me. Nothing that I can hit. Anyways, I think there's some up in like Fort Worth and stuff like that are D-Star, but nothing around here like that. So if I can't have a System Fusion radio, I don't think I'd want it. I wanted to get this one. This very nice radio. It has the true dual band operation, which I love. You can receive to VHF to UHF or VHF UHF, which is awesome. I mean, I use that function a lot. It has Echolink memories that you can have. It has a invertible front panel. It has the full 50 watts transmit. It does have two backlight colors, amber or green. Unfortunately, not the full color one like the Yaesu one does. But it has a lot of stuff. This radio is a really, really nice radio. I mean, if it's not, like I said, if it's not a digital radio that I can use with the System Fusion, this is what I would want. Yeah. But it's about the same price, within about $20. So, buy me the other radio if y'all are going to buy me one. Okay, so let's move on to handhelds. Okay. Handhelds, I love KENWOOD. KENWOOD is probably my best radio, my favorite radio brand out there. And I know that KENWOOD just released a D-Star handheld. But, like I said, I don't have any D-Star repeaters around here. I wish that I wish that KENWOOD would come out with a radio that does the Z4FM. Or one that would do all of them. Wouldn't that be great, y'all? I mean, if we can buy one radio that does all of them. One that will do System Fusion. One that will do DMR. One that will do D-Star. Just one radio. I mean, all radio. It would be so nice. But why can't they do it? It frustrates me so bad. But they don't. So, first choice on my handheld would be the Yaesu FT2DR. And it is the C4FM dual band HT. And it sells for $333 on mtcradio.com. Very nice radio. It has just a single, I believe it's just a single color LCD screen. It is touch panel, so that's really cool. The screen is 1.7 inches and it's high resolution, and this allows you to use the such and such a person is on a heading of 180 degrees 3 months or something like that. It will also be a milliamp hour high capacity lithium ion battery and battery charger. very nice sound. I've read quite a few of the of reviews and stuff on this radio, and everybody seems to pretty well like it. Like I said, it's have the built-in APRS TNC modem. So yeah, this would be my first choice for a handheld. Again, if I couldn't have the C4 FM radio, I would definitely have to go back to my first love. What is that? You're right, the KENWOOD. Now, with the KENWOOD, though, they just came out with this new D-Star one. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like the looks of it, and I don't know why. But it's really expensive. It's the same price as the mobile radio. It's like $500, and I can't see spending that on a handheld, right? I mean, that's just. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Now, granted, my second choice for a handheld isn't much cheaper than that, and it is the KENWOOD THD72A. Now, there is a cheaper one, which is the F6A, which is a tri-band handheld, which would, that would be pretty nice as well. My dad actually has one, and my stepmother actually has one, and they're pretty nice radios. I mean, they're small, but they have a lot of punch. But rather than the 220 band, I think I would rather have a built-in APRS, because I would really like to get into the APRS. Even though we don't have a lot of infrastructure around here, that is definitely something that I wish would change. But anyways, the THD72A, it regular price for about $430. Right now, you can buy it on Hamradio outlet for $379.95. It has a $50 KENWOOD coupon that expires on March 31st, 2017. So if you want to buy this radio, head on over there now and check it out. It does have 1,000 channels. It has 9 scan modes. It has a clock. It has DX cluster tuning, the call channel, which is really nice to have, automatic power off, selectable frequency steps, automatic repeater offset. It has the 1200 baud, 9600 baud TNC. You can use the Sky Command APRS firmware. It can be a standalone digipeater, which would probably be what I would use it for a lot when I wasn't using it in-house, maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe I would want to might get like a Raspberry Pi or something like that, or maybe a something else that I'm going to talk about next on my Christmas list for that use. But it would be nice, if you're out and about, it can be used as a digipeater. It is Echolink ready. So this I like this radio. I really do. And if I can't have the System Fusion one, that's my choice. So last on my Christmas wish list is the Rig Blaster Advantage, and it retails for $199.95. You can buy it from westmountainradio.com. It can do a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Rig blasters, they are very awesome pieces of equipment, and I would highly recommend that you get them. Try out a rig blaster if you haven't already. The rig blasters, most of them can do a whole bunch of stuff, but you can do things like PSK31. You can do the the MFSK16, the MT63, slow scan TV, digital slow scan TV, RTTY. You can do 300 and 1200 baud packet, APRS. You can do CW transmit and receive on a couple of the separate rig blasters. All of them will do contest voice keying. Well, not all of them, but some of them will do that. You can do repeater announcements, whether automatic or unattended. We use that feature a lot here on my dad's repeater. We'll announce the club meetings and the nets. It'll automatically do it, automatically key the radio, play a wave file, that's recorded on a computer, and away it goes. All of the models can do Echo Link. They can do a simplex or duplex repeater controller with Echo Station, which is really nice. We've used that once or twice before. Use the Rig Blaster to act as a repeater controller, hook 2 radios up to it, and away you go, basically. You do digital voice over single sideband on HF. Transmit squelch processing. You'll do the EQ and the compression on the Rig Blaster Pro is what has that. You can do computer rig control with it, DX beacon monitoring with it, whole bunch of stuff. I mean, this is what you can do with a Rig Blaster, and I mean just a couple of them, just like the RIDI and the PSK31 or the repeater announcements, Echo Link, the repeater controller, just those things. They're very well worth it. If you haven't tried a Rig Blaster, if you haven't checked out a Rig Blaster, make sure you do, because they are really awesome pieces of equipment. So that wraps up my wish list. These are what I would like if I had won the lottery or had an extra, I don't know, $2,000 or so laying around. So yeah, that's what I want. There is links to each one of these things that I talked about in the show notes of today's episode, and I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but you can find those show notes at everythinghamradio.com/podcast/49. That's the number 49. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is the last episode of the Ham Radio 360 podcast. Kale had a couple of the people from the Arden Network on there, and they had a awesome interview. If you've been listening to my podcast for any amount of time, back in episode 29, I talked about Broadband Hamnet, which Arden is a part of. There's basically 3 different protocols, I guess you could say, in Broadband Hamnet. One of them is Arden. Arden is a very neat system. All the nodes and stuff are done with commercial grade equipment, and basically you buy it, you reflash the memory, what they call. Basically you reprogram the thing, and away you go. And you have a node on the Arden network. You can hook it to a router in your ham shack, hook it to your computer, and you can have access to all the different stuff that it provides. They have keyboard to keyboard chat like we used to have in Packet. They have things like voice over IP phones. You can set up a camera to do remote viewing somewhere. You can send emails back and forth across the network, the actual ham radio network. You can actually hook it to the regular internet and send outside emails. There's just so much you can do. And I actually have a book that I'm reading. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I bought it from the ARRL, and it's like I want to say it's the ham mesh book that was published by the ARRL, and it's really neat. It's a really nice book. I haven't read it all. It's a pretty good sized book, and I kind of got sidetracked a little bit, but yeah, it's a really neat book. I'm trying to find it to see what the name of it is, but anyways, I've been reading that. I did research on it for episode number 29. But this episode that I listened to, this one with Kale and the 2 gentlemen that he had on, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities, to the information that or the things that you can do and what you can really do with it. And it really, what's the word I'm looking for? Forgive me for the uhs here, guys. I just lost my train of thought. Back in episode 29, I talked about uses. Maybe it wasn't episode 29. Maybe it was a blog post. But anyways, I talked about uses on how to do this. And one of the things that I talked about was that in my club, we are for emergency communications for our disaster relief program through our church. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to put a Hamnet node in each of our trucks that roll out, which we have 3 of them in the state of Texas, and each truck will close about 2,000 people. But I wanted to put a node in each one of the trucks and have it like a mobile thing always on or whatever when we're out in the field. And then we can, keyboard to keyboard chat back and forth all over this network, right? So, I mean, that's one of the uses that I can use it for, I guess you could say. Okay, so the book I was talking about is the High Speed Multimedia for Amateur Radio, and it's published by the ARRL. I think I got it for like $10 or something. I think I might have got it on sale. I think it's like 20 or something. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The ARRL network is very nice. It's very well put together. So definitely head on over to hamradio360.com and listen to that episode if you haven't already. And also check back on my episode number 29, which you can find at everythinghamradio.com/podcast/29, and listen to it. I talk not only about the ARRL network, but also Broadband Hamnet, or the HHMM, BBHM, or something like that. I talked about all 3 modes on the Hamnet, so to speak. And talked about some of the differences and stuff. Some of the things that I talked about are out of service now, I guess you can say. One of the major selling points for Broadband Hamnet was the use of the old Cisco WGN 425, I think, routers, which they have phased out now. So, yeah. But the ARRL network actually can use those, or they're backwards compatible for it. You can actually use those on ARRL, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but who knows? I don't know. My brain is kind of fried now, guys. I'm sorry. It's really frustrating losing train of thoughts, and I'm sure all the physical labor, all the mental labor, all of the 3 kids that I have now, and my wife, and my brain is probably fried, but I really need to get this recorded. So, but anyways, sorry about that train of side thought. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for what I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about our Amateur Radio Club Spotlight for this episode. Okay, so for the Amateur Radio Club Spotlight, we are talking about the St. Albans Amateur Radio Club, and they are in Albans, Vermont. We are up to the Vermont. If you haven't noticed, I've been going every state in alphabetical order and moving up in my Amateur Radio Club Spotlights. We've made it up to Vermont. We're soon to be starting over. But anyways, St. Albans Amateur Radio Club, you can find them at starc.org. They're also on Facebook at facebook.com/starcinc. They have meetings on the last Thursday of the month at 7:30 p.m. at the St. Albans VFW at 353 Lake Road in St. Albans, Vermont. They have 4 repeaters, 2 in 2 separate locations, which I believe they are linked as well. And they are the 145.23 repeater, has a 100 PL tone. And they also have a 443.4 repeater with a 162.2 tone that are located in St. Albans. Then they also have a 146.745 with a PL of 100 and a 447.225 with a PL of 100 in J Peak. And like I said, I believe those 2 are linked together. And if you go to the show notes of today's episode, there is a button that you can listen to those repeaters live, which is pretty cool to me. I wish I could talk back, but at least you can listen. They have a net. Their weekly net is every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on the 145.23 repeater. And they do a few activities. They do a switchback bike for the lake bikeathon, and they do a run for gym races, marathon type thing, I believe. They do several QSO parties. They do the field day. I don't believe they participated last year, but they have done that before. They have the VE team. Yeah, they do quite a bit. It seems like a pretty active club, but unfortunately, it seems like as well they are struggling for memberships. I think there's a lot of clubs out there that are struggling for membership. And that pretty much wraps up the Radio Club Spotlight. But I do want to say something. You know, I listened to Ham Talk Live here a couple days ago, and their topic of the episode was how to build your club. And they were talking to a gentleman that's like I guess a motivational speaker type thing or something like that. And he gave some pretty interesting ideas for how to build your club, things you need to do. And one of the things that that kind of hit me, which, you know, I really didn't think about it before, but I kind of did. I kind of know about it, but it just kind of reiterated it, I guess you could say. One of the things that irks me, I guess, maybe when you go to a new club, and I hope that your club is not like this, but one of the things that I know that he said was that the people, when a new person comes to a club meeting and they're kind of like alienated or something, if a member doesn't go up to them with a smile, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Where you from? And talk to you, welcome them with open arms, they're not as likely to come back as if you actually do stuff like that. Get them involved with it. Say hello. Don't wait until you start your meeting and some clubs I know will do like a round robin. Hi, my name is Curtis. My call sign is K5CLM, and then go to the next person. Don't wait for that. Get up, go to them and say hello. How are you? My name is Curtis. What's yours? Make them feel welcome. They'll be more likely to come back. And that's one of the things that he talked about or how to build your club. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of that of what he said. If you want to go on over there and listen to it, I will include a link in today's episode in the show notes. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I will get it put in the show notes. So check those out. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the events that are coming up. Okay, so all the times that are going to be given in this events thing is in Zulu time. And like I mentioned before in last episode, I'm going to kind of shorten this a little bit. I'm not going to say every single thing that is on there, all the weekly stuff I'm going to kind of get rid of. And not really do that, because if you participate in those kind of things, you probably already know that it's coming up the next week. So anyways, off to the events. The RAEM contest is on the December 25th on Christmas morning from 0000 to 11:59. Why you would have a contest on Christmas morning is flabbergasting to me. I don't know, maybe they don't celebrate Christmas or something. I would much rather be spending time with my family and opening Christmas presents than doing a contest. But hey, to each his own. Okay, so next thing, December 26th from 8:30 to 10:59 is the DARC Christmas contest. On the 28th from 0000 to 200 is the SKCC Sprint. On January 1st, Happy New Year, everybody, is the AGB New Year Snowball Contest, and it runs from 0 hours to 100 hours. Also on the 1st, from 800 to 1100, is the SARTG New Year RTTY Contest. From 900 to 1200 on the 1st is the AGCW Happy New Year Contest. On the 1st, from 1400 hours to 1700 hours on the 144 megahertz, and from 1700 to 1800 hours on the 440 megahertz is the AGCW VHF UHF Contest. Also on the 1st, from 1500 to 1800 is the QRP ARCI New Year's Sprint. I actually have it twice on my list. I'm going to fix that. And last but not least, on January 3rd, from 2 to 400 hours is the ARS Spartan Sprint. All the information obtained on this event calendar was taken from the WA7BNM contest calendar. Like I said, we do not have any upcoming Hamfest, at least that are on the ARRL website. And it doesn't surprise me, being over Christmas, who wants to spend it at a Hamfest? Actually, it wouldn't be half bad, if I could have it like the day after Christmas, because I typically have a little extra money that I get from Christmas. So it might not be a bad thing, but yeah, probably not. Okay, so that wraps that up. Let's get on with the news. Okay, so how many of y'all have heard of Kids Day? I see a couple of hands going up. I really do. Yeah, okay. So some of y'all have. Well, Kids Day is coming up next Saturday, or it's coming up, I guess maybe 2 Saturdays from now. It is January the 7th. That is the next Kids Day. It is the first Saturday in January. And basically what it is a time to get youngsters on the air to share in the joy and fun of amateur radio. Kids Day gets underway on Saturday, January 7th at 1800 UTC time and concludes at 23:59. It is sponsored by the Boring Amateur Radio Club. This event has a simple exchange suitable for youngsters: first name, age, location, and favorite color. After that, the contact can be as long or as short as each participant prefers. Kids Day is a perfect opportunity to open your shack door and invite kids over to see what amateur radio has to offer. You can find further information on the ARRL website. Suggested exchange, like I said, is name, age, location, and favorite color. Be sure to work the same station again if the operator has changed. You can draw attention to yourself by calling CQ Kids Day. I have 2 videos that are in the show notes of today's episode that y'all really need to go and watch. I'm serious here. One of them is of a dad and a young boy that are doing Kids Day. And it's funny to watch. It's funny to watch the kid on the look on his face when he makes the contest and when he calls CQ, and yeah, it's pretty neat. The second video is Kids Day on the Hamradio at Valley Christian School, and it's kind of a interview news article type thing. I think is where it starts out, maybe like a documentary type. And then it goes on to show some kids making contacts. So head on over to the show notes, everythinghamradio.com/podcast/49. Scroll all the way down the bottom, and you'll see those 2 videos on my site that you can watch. Definitely recommend y'all do that. If you don't know what Kids Day is, that's basically the gist of it. There is certain frequencies that are suggested to use, but you don't have to, and you can find that on the ARRL website, and there is a link to that as well in the show notes. That's pretty much it for this episode. That was really the only big news story that I actually found. And actually, I take that back. There is another event that's coming up. I don't have the information in front of me, so I'm not going to get all the information right, but there will be a future episode on this. And that is Winter Field Day. Now, not everybody's heard of Winter Field Day. I think last year was the first year that I heard about it. But it is basically just like Field Day is in June, but it's in the winter. And I think there's a few other rules and stuff changes about it. But we're going to talk about that probably in probably the second week in January, because I believe it's like on the 18th, 19th, something like that. So stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't noticed, this is episode number 49. That means my next episode is going to be episode 50. That is a major benchmark. I really didn't think that I would make it this far in a podcast. So I'm thinking about getting some extra stuff. I know I have at least one thing that I'm going to give away. I've contacted several people on donating some stuff for my 50th episode. But I do have at least one person that has already said yes, they will. And that's George Zafiropoulos. I butchered his name, I'm sure, over with Hamradio 360. He's already said that he will donate something. I don't know what that is yet. Probably like a Pactena or something like that. So definitely check back next episode and see what we got. I'm hoping to have 2, 3, 4 things that I'm going to give away to some lucky person. I haven't figured out how exactly we're going to do that yet, but I have some ideas. And it's not going to be until the first week in January. Next Thursday, I will not have a podcast episode. I might just kind of say, hop on and say I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, but I probably won't have very much. This is the last podcast episode before Christmas, and I kind of don't really want to spend all my time figuring out what I'm going to talk about for next episode, even though it will be after Christmas. I still typically record it and work on it over the weekend, and I really don't want to get away from my family and stuff like that when we're doing our Christmas. So next Thursday I will be taking a break from the podcast and come back on the 5th of January with episode number 50. So make sure that you come back and stay tuned for all that. See what things we have to give away. So that pretty much wraps up the episode for today. I've talked about quite a bit, already in 50, almost 51 minutes. That's pretty cool. Anyways, I want to thank all of y'all for stopping by today. If you like what you heard on my podcast, please make sure that you share it with your friends. Also, you can head on over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio or Google Play or wherever you listen to. Give me an honest review and a star rating. Please share it with your friends. Encourage them to subscribe to my podcast. And if you would like to help out monetarily, there are several ways that you can do it. You can make a one-time donation through PayPal, which there should be a link at the bottom of the page. I believe I got it working now, hopefully, possibly. If not, super easy way to donate whatever amount that you want to do. Just go to paypal.me/everythinghamradio. And it will take you to a donate page where you can put whatever dollar amount in there you want and click on send or submit or something like that. And it'll give me a donation through PayPal. You can also become a contributor on Patreon, which basically you pledge a per episode amount, and I think once a month it actually takes it out of it, actually charges you or whatever. And you can do $1, $5, $10, whatever. And I want to thank Brian Stanford for his pledge of $1 per episode. So thank you, Brian, very much for that. And last but not least, you can simply shop through my affiliate link on Amazon. Just go to the support page down towards the bottom where I talk about Amazon. There is a link and you can click on there. Just click on it and it will take you to Amazon. You won't see anything different. Prices won't be different or anything like that. Everything will appear the same to you. But if you go through my affiliate link, and I will actually include it in the show notes as well from now on, I will get a small finder's fee or advertising fee on anything that you buy. Pretty much anything you buy. Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to my email list. You'll get an email on when I publish a new post or a new podcast episode. Super easy. You can go to the show notes of today. At the very bottom, there's a short form that you can fill out. Click the sign me up button and you'll get an email from me. And you have to click on their link inside that email to confirm that it was you that signed up. You can also go to everythinghamradio.com/subscribe to do the same thing as well. And trust me, I hate spam as much as anyone does, and I promise I will not sell it or rent your email address or give it out to anybody else. So your email is safe with me. Again, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/everythinghamradio. You can find my group at facebook.com/groups/everythinghamradio. And I actually have a poll going up right now on that group on how long these episodes should be. Should they be 30 minutes? Should they be 50 minutes? Should it be however long it takes to talk about the subject? And you can also follow me on Twitter at K5CLO. Something else that I would like to mention, I have a survey that you can take that I would really be grateful for you to take. If you go to everythinghamradio.com/survey, it's like a 10-question survey type thing, basically talking about each segment of my episodes, whether you like them or not. It has a couple short answer boxes. How do you like it? What's your favorite part? What's your least favorite part? What can I do to improve? So please go over there and fill out that short survey for me. Please be honest with me. You will not hurt my feelings, I promise. But yeah, so please do that. And that pretty much wraps it up. Again, thank y'all all for listening. Y'all are the reason that I do this. Well, part of the reason that I do this. I do it because I love it. I might do it if I didn't get any listeners. Well, I did do it. I didn't get a whole lot of listeners when I first started out. But here I am, coming up on episode number 50. And I'm still doing it. So, and it's in part largely to all of y'all listening. We've had great growth over the last 6 months or so, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All the emails that I've received, all the support that I've received. And we'll actually have a new surprise next episode as well. So stay tuned for that. Not only all the giveaway, any giveaway items that I'm going to have, but I'm also having a surprise for me, which helps y'all. And I guess that pretty much wraps up this episode. So until next time, this is K5CLM wishing each of y'all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you in January on the 5th. So 73, y'all.